You are planning your next gala. Your board wants a live auction. They say it brings more energy. They say it raises more money. You are not so sure. You know, a live auction takes a lot of time. It requires a professional auctioneer. It pauses the whole event. You wonder if you should just stick to a silent auction. It is easier to run, it lets guests mingle, but you do not want to leave money on the table. This is the most common debate in event planning. Today, we are ending the debate. We are looking at the data. We will cover exactly when a live auction wins and when a silent auction wins. We will also cover how to use both. You do not have to choose just one. You just have to know when to deploy them. This is the Million Dollar Nonprofit, the daily podcast for fundraising practitioners. Every episode gives you one specific tip to raise more money. If you are trying to decide between a silent and live auction, welcome. Before we get into the data, today's episode is brought to you by charityauctions.com. That is the platform powering thousands of nonprofit events every year. The platform data shows that the most successful events do not guess about their format. They use a strict timeline to maximize revenue from both auction types. So the team at charityauctions.com built a free event night checklist. It is a 50-point guide that maps out exactly when to close your silent auction. It also tells you exactly when to start your live auction. Download it free at charityauctions.com/event-checklist. I will put the link in the show notes. The timeline is the secret to making the hybrid model work. Let us start with the revenue per item metric. This is where the live auction dominates. The data is clear. A high value item will almost always sell for more in a live auction. The reason is psychology. A live auction creates public competition. It forces bidders to make split-second decisions. An auctioneer builds momentum that a piece of paper cannot match. If you have an item worth $5,000, put it in the live auction, it will sell for 20 to 30% more. But there is a catch. A live auction only works for a small number of items. The data shows that revenue drops sharply after the seventh or eighth item. The audience gets tired. The energy fades. The live auction wins on revenue per item, but it loses on volume. You cannot sell 50 items with an auctioneer. Your guests will walk out before you finish. The data says 3 to 5 items is the sweet spot. Anything more than 7 is a mistake. You will watch the bids drop and the crowd check out. Keep it tight, keep it exclusive, keep the energy high. This brings us to the audience factor. This is where the silent auction wins. A live auction only engages the top 5% of your room. It is built for your major donors. The other 95% of your guests sit and watch. They cannot afford a $5,000 vacation. If you only have a live auction, you leave all their money on the table. A silent auction engages the entire room. It offers items at every price point. It allows a young professional to bid on a $50 gift card. It allows a mid-level donor to bid on a $500 dinner. The silent auction wins on participation. It turns attendees into active donors. The first $50 bid is critical. It breaks the ice. It gets them used to giving to your organization. The silent auction is not just about revenue, it is about donor acquisition. If your goal is to acquire new donors, you must have a silent auction. It is the best acquisition tool in your entire event. You give them a low barrier to entry. They walk away with a prize. You walk away with their contact information and a new relationship. The third element is the hybrid model. The data shows that the highest grossing events do not choose between the two formats. They use both, but they use them strategically. The hybrid model works like this. You put 30 to 40 items in the silent auction. These are your gift baskets, local experiences, and lower value items. You let that run for the first 2 hours of the event. Then you close it completely. You transition the room, you start the live auction, you feature exactly 3 to 5 premium items. These are your exclusive trips and one-of-a-kind experiences. You run the live auction for no more than 20 minutes. This model gives you the best of both worlds. The silent auction captures the volume. The live auction captures the high-end competition. And because the live auction is short, the energy stays high. You do not exhaust your audience. You leave them wanting more. That is exactly how you want them to feel when the paddle raise begins. The live auction is just the warm-up. The paddle raise is the main event. Protect that energy at all costs. So let us recap the data. First, the revenue per item metric. Live auctions generate 20 to 30% more revenue on premium items. Use them for your top packages. Second, the audience factor. Silent auctions engage the entire room. Use them to capture bids from your mid-level and entry-level donors. Third, the hybrid model. The most profitable events use both. Run a robust silent auction early. Close it and run a short 5-item live auction. This strategy maximizes your revenue without exhausting your guests. It gives every person in the room a chance to give. It turns passive spectators into active participants, and it sets the stage for a massive paddle raise. Do not let your board force you into an hour-long live auction. Show them this data instead. Grab the checklist to make the transition between the two formats seamless. The event night checklist maps out the exact timeline for a successful hybrid event. Download it at charityauctions.com/event-checklist. I will see you tomorrow for another tip to help you build $1 million nonprofit.